What's up? What's going on? Get a few things together. Get a few things together. Mm. Mute that. Let me get this shared up real quick. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Get this shared out real quick, family. Y'all, hey, can you hear me? I know y'all can hear me. My mic was acting up. My mic was acting up. Let's see. Mm, 1 second here, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. What y'all like today? What y'all like today? What you guys like today? Tell me. Tell me what you guys like. All right. We shared up. Oh. Mm. I just went live. I ain't been live in a minute, but it's a lot of people it's a lot of people it's a lot of people who ask me how I was doing things and stuff like that. That's why I just went live. But it's early. They probably ain't even up, man. Those people probably not even up, to tell you the truth. All right, let's get to it. What do we got here? Hmm. I had already went through everything this morning. So there's gonna be some people over there watching that. I had already went through everything. Um, I just wanted to come on here and go through a couple different sites, and especially like DraftKings and and PrizePicks, because a lot of people they don't play that, and just wanted people to know that, and a couple other sites too, like um, Fangraphs and Baseball Savant and stuff like that, to help folks, and a little bit of Play IQ and stuff like that, to help folks understand and and know that it's more research tools and stuff out there that you guys can use to get to where you're trying to be and do what you're trying to do. A lot of people like those home run props and stuff like that. Uh, Show you ways that people get to their home run props and how they do it. little things that they look at, and for the strikeout props and stuff like that as well. Just wanted to show some of that stuff if people really wanted to check it out, or maybe I have to make a separate video for it. I don't know, because the games are about to come on soon. But I could do a brief rundown of what I was looking at. Probably one play each game, and show you guys how I came to it, or something like that. Don't have a lot of plays right here in this game, but I'll show you how. And like this San Diego game here, I do like Soto. I do like Soto. So a lot of this stuff comes from me doing this all year long, right? I do this all year long. Not the best at it, but I'm not afraid to help somebody. So a lot of stuff I have already in my head. So say for instance, I like Soto, which I do like Soto. Okay. So a few different sites that you can use, like Baseball Savant. Here's a site that you can use, and it's one of the top sites out there. As you can see right now, you can see Soto right now. Exit velocity sitting under 93. Everything is color coded for you. Hard hit percentage 57.9. Everything in red means it's a go. Everything in the red means it's a go. Means it's good. Okay. Expected WOBA, expected batter average, expected slugging, K percentage, walk percentage, all of that. Okay. So I already know a lot of his splits and stuff like that. And for those, to make it really, really, really more easy, I look at splits like so I look at a lot of those splits like that in Fangraphs. So right now he's going up against a lefty, right? I mean a righty in Wheeler. Okay. So looking at Juan Soto, I could just slide right on over to his splits, okay? And he got home, on the way, lefties, righties, whatever the case may be. I'm looking at a multitude of things right now. Right now, you got his averages and shit like that right over here. So here's your numbers right here at the top in general. So he versus righties in general, he's averaging a 292 versus righties in general. Okay, so that's pretty cool right there. All right, pretty decent. 392. At home, they are on they're on the road right now. They're on the road right now. At on the road versus righties, he's batting at 330. All right, on the road versus righties, as you can see right down here, you got your home and away, home versus lefties, home versus righties, and then away versus lefties, away versus righties. He's home versus lefties, 167, home versus righties, 257, away versus lefties, 250, and then away versus righties, it jumps to a 330. Okay. So, he's hitting righties a little bit better than he's hitting them on the road. Okay. I mean, on the road, then he's hitting them at home. Then you have your ABs and PAs, your at bats, your plate appearances, your hits, your singles, doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, walks, so on and so forth. Now, he away, his splits is away. Then you got plate appearances, really good sample size there. His home runs, okay. Overall, home and away, you can add them together on the fly. There's 16 home runs. Away versus lefties, he's got 1 home run. Away versus righties, he's got 9. Okay, so the bulk of his home runs are on the road versus right-hand pitchers. All right. Now, those are some standard numbers. Going down to some advanced numbers, as far as a lot of WRC plus, WOBA, ISO, OPS, slugging, OBP, and averages and stuff like that. You can look at versus lefty and righties, home away, same, so on and so forth. So right now, versus lefties in general, he has a 108 WRC plus, and versus righties, he has a 170 WRC plus, and isolated power versus lefties 125 versus righties 264. OPS versus right-handers sitting at 998 versus lefties is 706, so on and so forth. So as you can see there, average 292, yada yada yada. Now you got more splits, home and away. Okay, so away versus lefties, 97 WRC plus. Away versus righties, 203 WRC plus. His numbers get a little bit better on the road versus righties. ISO goes from in general 264 to on the road versus righties a 350. All right. In general, OPS 998, on the road 1150. Okay. In general, slugging versus righties 556, on the road it blooms up to a 680. Okay, those are the difference. Those are splits in a nutshell. All right, averages. Just basic average. Soto 292 versus righties. On the road versus righties 330. Okay, his K percentage is down versus righties 16.8, 15.7. A 15.7 K rate on the road versus righties. It's got a high walk rate at 21.8. So it's getting on base, shit like that, things like that. All right. Those are some, but imagine going through all of this for all the players and all of that, man. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot unless you know a lot of this shit by heart. Some people got tools and stuff like that. I do everything pretty raw. You know what I'm saying? So backtrack. Soto does have a history. I think he's got 2 or 3 home runs off of him. You know what I'm saying? You can find that at any BVP site. You know what I'm saying? Defense versus position, any BVP site or something like that. You can even do it. You can come on Savant if you're just having to be on Savant. I forgot how you do that. You could just I forgot how you do that. Or you could just let me see. I can probably just put in DVP. Or let me see. I had one that was I using RotoWire before. I don't too much look at DVP that much anymore, but let's see. RotoWire. Buying water, better change time today's lineup. Probable pitchers, RotoWire. Let me see. Hot and cold. Oh, I'm thinking about DVP. I'm thinking about DVP, not DVP. BVP. I'm thinking about basketball. I'm thinking about basketball. My fault. I'm thinking about basketball, but here's another way that you could, you could implement some of that into your let me see. Soto. So yeah, so there you have it right there. He's got a big sample size. I just showed you right here on how I just showed you how I go through the splits and everything. And then I just looked at the BVP, and then that gives you he's got a hefty sample size, 38 at bats, and he's got 38 at bats, and 11 hits, 3 extra base hits, 2 home runs, a couple RBIs. He's batting 289. OBP versus him 449, slugging 474, OPS 923. Like I said, and then I just rewound it back, and I just gave you guys how I check out splits. You know what I'm saying? This is standard. I can just go straight to the advanced splits, and then versus right hand pitching. Like I said, the WRC plus, it goes from a 170 to a 203. OPS one, away versus righties. So he's on the road. That's one thing. That's another thing right there. All right, so I'll go to another example, another example of a split that I like today. All right, so right here, let's look at the Chicago White Sox game here, right? So let's look at Tim Anderson, okay? And sometimes you have to wait. You have to wait till this split come around, and it might not work for you. But here's a good example of a split here, okay? Here's a good example of a split, all right? So of some crazy splits, because you got some crazy splits out here. All right, so look at that Tim Anderson. All right, let's take a look at because this is going to be some crazy splits right here. Versus left hand pitching. All right, so look at some of his averages. All right, so he's batting. Okay, let's look at his average in general. Is 223. Okay, average 223. No home runs, not a big power hitter, whatever case may be with that. Now, versus lefties, he's batting 306. Versus righties, he's batting 195. Okay. Now, let's go straight down here, scroll down a little bit more. Well, yeah, scroll down here. Let's go straight to his advanced splits. Now, this is where it gets, where this is where how you learn when and where you want to target a batter or something like that. Okay, so his on the road, right, versus lefties. You can look at his WRC plus. All right, so his WRC plus is just like shot, but versus lefties, away versus lefties, it's a 135. Okay, so I didn't show you these regular averages, home and away. So let's go back. In general, versus lefties, his batting average is sitting at 306 versus lefties. On the road versus lefties, his batting average is 366. Okay. Now, all the rest of that shit is low twos, whatever the case may be. Now, like I said, come back down here to the advanced. Now you can look at this WRC plus, everything, none of that shit is over a 54 outside of his WRC plus versus lefties on the road. It's very seldom you're gonna catch these lefties on the road. But you got to remember these splits. It don't always jump out at you. You got to remember them. If you've been doing baseball for the whole year, you're gonna see it. All right, now. And then you got to keep an eye out on the plate appearances. Like I said, now I'm gonna go through these advanced numbers real quick. His isolated power has never been that high. All right, so his OPS is double. It's almost double everything else. Versus lefties on the road, 834, and everything else is down there. His slugging versus lefties on the road is 439, damn near double all this shit here. Okay, versus array, home, all that. My mic is acting up. All right, so his average is away versus lefties 366 versus everything else, home, away, home versus lefty, home versus righties, all that shit. His home versus lefty, that's his split. All right, that's why you notice we ain't been hearing Tim Anderson. You know what I'm saying? So you have to. I ain't gonna say you have to wait, but it's best to wait till that time comes. Now, that's a strike. I mean, that's a split for you. Those are a couple splits right there, and a couple ways that I go about looking at the splits. Now, shout out to Rich Homie Quan, Rich Homie Queon, whatever. He said, who I like for strikeouts today. I already did my podcast for overnight, but it took me a long while. I was waiting for Zach Eflin strikeouts to come out. It came out at 5. My mic, I don't know. If my mic go out, please let me know. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I got a shortage in my cord. All right, but like I was saying, I was looking at Eflin. Eflin is who I was looking at. Um, his strikeout prop. I waited for his strikeout prop all night. It came out at yeah, my shit went out. My shit went out, Joe. But it's cool. But like I say, I looked at this strikeout prop and it came out at 5.5. It's 5.5 at plus 110. You know what I'm saying? So, 5.5 at plus 110. And I was looking at Brady Singer's strikeouts too, but Zach Eflin's strikeouts is kind of, I've got to figure out why it's 5.5 at 110. You know what I'm saying? I looked at some of his numbers looked okay, looked kind of fine to me. His K percentage 26.1 towards lefties, 27.1 towards lefties, 26 overall, 24.5 towards righties. That looked pretty good to me. You know what I'm saying? Those numbers look pretty good to me. Then I had to backtrack. You know what I'm saying? Just check some of the team numbers because it seemed low. Plus 110 I sprinkled on it already, so I'm stuck with it. Looking at some of the numbers here, and I use Fangraphs for pitchers too. I just in the beginning of the video, you guys can go back and rewind it. I try to explain some ways that I look at splits, but looking at some of these team splits and stuff like that. Let's say I'm looking at on the year, Kansas City Royals on the year striking out versus right-hand pitching. They striking out. They fifth in striking out versus right-hand pitching at 24.7%. So, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. Now I had to look last 30 days. So last 30 days, what have you done for me lately? They fourth in striking out at 25%. Okay. So let me look at because I'm trying to figure out why is this shit at 5.5 at plus money. So last 14 days, last 2 weeks, what have you been doing? So 330 plate appearances. Kansas City Royals striking out 26%. Still top 10 is striking out. So the numbers point there. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go and look at Eflin. Let me look at him personally and see what the fuck he's been doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to see why it's plus money and it's such a good matchup. You know what I'm saying? Such a good matchup, and it's still plus money right now. So looking at Zach Eflin, looking at some of his splits here. Same way I was just doing for the batter. So this is a good demonstration with a pitcher. Same way I was doing with a batter. And looking at some of his splits, some of his ERA home and away. So he's on the road, weekend baseball. It's a possibility his ERA is 4.65 on the road. So he might run into a few woes there. We'll see. So looking at some advanced numbers here, K percentage. All right, so his K percentage, 27.6 versus lefties, 24.9 versus righties, home and away. His overall K percentage dips a little bit on the road, 24.4. I'm fine with that. He's on the road, so let's look at some of his away. 25 versus lefties, 23.9 versus righties. I'm still fine with that at a 5.5 K rate. Okay, at a 5.5 K prop. Okay, so I'm looking at that. Now let me look at the game log. Let's see what they're looking like. Let's see what he's been doing lately. 5 strikeouts versus Atlanta, 5 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts versus Philly, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts versus Arizona, 7 innings pitched versus Kansas City at home. He has 7 Ks at home versus Kansas City. So I'm not seeing nothing that's scaring me off of that. It's a long process. Imagine doing all this for hitters, doing all this for batters. All that should take a long time, man. But if you've been doing it for a long time, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Can he go out there and shit on himself? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Am I willing to take that chance? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I already sprinkled some on it. So I took the 5.5 right there. I mean, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. I do that shit a lot faster. But sometimes it's good to wait for the lineups to come out. And one thing that's major key is the lineup page. So a lineup page is major key. I often use this. I've had it bookmarked for years. I often use this. I had it bookmarked for years. Nothing spectacular, just something basic. When all of this turned yellow, that means confirmed lineups. Okay. Using different sites can help you out. A lot of K percentages, like this site has a lot of K percentages when you're comparing some of the strikeout guys. Anything over, I say, me personally, 21% is considered a high K rate for me. So, Bakiel Garcia, Bobby Witt, Perez, Melendez, Massey, all these guys got high K percentage right here, got high K percentages. And, if these guys end up in the lineup, then you can go in and count the Ks. Okay, this is where I want to ladder him at. This is how I want to alter him down to, or I want to alter him up to, shit like that. Okay, that's just one player right there. Okay. That's one batter. That one player that I like was Zach Eflin. We're gonna see. We're gonna see today. All right, now let's see. Let's go through some other pitchers here that I think could probably do here. All right, so Zach Wheeler. Okay, so here's one people gonna be on. People gonna be on Zach Wheeler. I don't know if I'm gonna be on him or not. I'm fine with fading somebody. So let's say Zach Wheeler's Ks come out at 7.5, and he hit 10 Ks, and I say I'm fading him. When I'm fading you, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you hit 15 Ks. My mind's set up. I'm fading you, and it is what it is. All right, because if you get in the mindset, if you go out there and have 10 Ks, if you go out there and have 10 Ks, and you say I fade him, and you be like, damn, I'm betting on his ass next time. No. That's not how you do it. That's how you go out there and start losing money. Fading is showing, fading is showing, you don't want action in everything. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta make a stand. But either way it goes, Zach Wheeler, right? So his K prop, what is this K prop sitting at? Let's see what we come up with. Let's see what we come up with. 6.5, minus 140. Zach Wheeler, I think that's doable. Let's see what we got. First of all, let's quickly check some of his K rates. San Diego. Okay. All right. Zach Wheeler. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get to that. I don't want to scare nobody off, but I'm walking people there to the long way, okay? K percentage, his K percentage looks fine, okay? It looks fine. 26.7, 23 to lefties, 30% towards righties, okay? Looks fine. I did tell you guys in the beginning of the video, I broke down Soto, how I like Juan Soto today. I like Juan Soto versus Zach Wheeler today. However, all right, so look, I just told you guys K percentages, why it's good to see who's in the lineup. I like K percentages, I consider it personally high, around 22 and stuff, but high I think it's 21% or better is what the industry considers high. You know what I'm saying? But you got to see who's going to be in the lineup. So we got some of these guys in the heart of the lineup right here that don't fucking strike out. All right. Juan Soto at 17%, Machado at 19%, Bogart 17%, and Cronenworth 17%. These are considered low K rate batters here. Kim, he strikes out pretty high, but you got to go in there. You know what I'm saying? Wheeler got to get to his cage before he get his ass fucked up. That's what it all boils down to. So let's go over here to Wheeler real quick. Let's go to Fangraphs to Wheeler. All right, let's go to Wheeler. Let's go to Wheeler. I'm trying to show you guys my process. If you guys got a different process, put me up on it. All right. But I'm showing you guys the long way, the cheap way, and the free way. Okay. You know, everything, I'm about that. I'm about the free shit. Okay. I'm about that. All right. So let's and then we got a lot of pop-ups. With free comes a lot of free pop-ups and shit. But it's all worth it in the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's all worth it in the end of the day. All right, so who is this? We were talking about Wheeler, right? Right. So let's look at this game log. How about that? Let's look at this game logs, okay? So strikeouts have been there for him, man. He's been around that number in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of his last 7 games. This is strikeouts here. 6 out of his last 7 games. He's been in the wheelhouse. All right. He's hit this, what is it? 6.5. All right. So it is what it is. Now the earned runs. All right. Lately, he's been getting his ass tore up. All right. 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs. Okay. Last 3 games. All right. New York, Miami, Washington, New York, whatever the case may be. All right. Now I'm about to look at how San Diego fared versus right-hand pitching, strikeout wise lately. Okay. So, and just all overall in general, what have they been doing? So let's start off with 2023. Okay. Let's update that. 2023. This is for the full season right here. San Diego Padres. They've been striking out. They 17th is striking out on the season. That for 22% versus right-hand pitching. Okay. Last 30 days, where have they been striking out? So they are striking out the 27th at 18.7%. with 651 plate appearances. So the plate appearances have been there, okay? So, okay, I'm like, all right, so, hey, let's look at last 14 days. Bam, striking out, what? San Diego Padres still way down there, 27th, 18%, okay? Now, let's go backwards. Let's see how they've been hitting them, okay? So we just going to start at the last 14 days since we right here. We're going to check the WRC plus. Bam, number 1. Last 14 days, San Diego Padres, number 1, WRC plus versus right-hand pitching. That means they hitting right-hand pitching really, really good. Isolated power, last 14 days, they are 4th. Last 14 days, OPS, they are 2nd. All right, 228 plate appearances versus righties. I think that's okay. Slugging, top 10, number 5, top 5. On base percentage, number 1. Batting average, top 10. They 6th. Walks, what about walks? Number 1. Okay. All right, let's go 30 days. Last 30 days. All right. They ain't been striking out anyway. We already went through that. They already know they ain't been striking out. Now, walks, last 30 days, 650 plate appearances. They're number 2 in drawing walks. Batting average, last 30 days, right outside the top 10 at number 11. On base percentage, 2nd. Got a lot to do with Soto. He be doing a lot of walking and shit. Slugging, right outside top 10, number 11. OPS, they probably middle of the pack in that, probably. Let me see. Where the fuck are they? Oh, top 10. Isolated power. I mean, you get the drift. 13. WRC plus. What are they? WRC plus. Top 10. All right, top 10. Number 7. Okay, so that's some of the ways that I go about looking at it. But a pitcher can still go out there and get their Ks. Don't get it twisted, but those are some ways that I look at it. You can make a decision which way you want to go from there. You know what I'm saying? You can make a decision which way you want to go from there. Bats, like a bat. I like Soto. I like Soto here, but I couldn't talk you off. I like what's the name too? Harper as well. I couldn't talk you off the strikeout prop though. He can get there. Sometimes you just got good pitchers, and he can get there. He can get there. Am I gonna bet it? Probably not. Probably not. I actually think the dogs are barking here. I actually think San Diego can probably pull this one out. I don't bet a lot of games, but I think the dogs can be barking here. Good for a live bet, or maybe a sprinkle on San Diego at plus 134. I'm okay with that. I'm not betting Philly. I'm not betting Philly. That's what I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not betting Philly unless it's a live bet. And I don't want to waste you guys. I just wanted to show you guys a couple ways that I looked at things here. If anybody got any questions, they can ask me. Home runs. Everybody like home runs. Let's look at some of the ways. Let's look at some home runs. I mean, it's a few different ways I look at home runs, and the industry looks at home runs. It's a lot of different ways, man. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely. Definitely. So what? Minnesota Twins in this Oakland Athletics game here. Sears is a lefty. Minnesota will strike out though. So there you have that. Definitely. Those are some strikeout pitches. Both of those pitchers are looking at them for strikeouts. I am looking at. I really wanted to pull the trigger on Gray, but we got weather implications. If you guys haven't checked the weather, please go check the weather. We got bad weather implications going on around here. Weather is in this San Diego game. Weather is got some good weather for this White Sox game. It's hot, muggy, and the wind is blowing out 10 to 15 miles an hour out. This Miami game, we got big time weather implications here. If this game was no weather, I would take Baltimore here. I like Baltimore. I don't bet on a lot of games. It would be Baltimore. Let me see. This Arizona game here, I expect runs to be put up in here. Perfect game for hits, runs, and RBIs and stuff like that. I wouldn't say perfect game, but my top bats here is going to be, I'm going to give you two from each one. It's going to be Bichette, Chapman. Chapman is a real home run candidate here. Bichette is too. He's due. But his runs and RBIs and stuff like that. Ketel Marte for Arizona, and I forget the kid's name, man. His ass, damn. Walker. Yep. What's his name? Walker. So, Max Scherzer, this Dodgers game here. Max Scherzer is another guy. I got plenty notes here too because I did my other podcast. It's on YouTube. But for the people who are here right now, Max Scherzer, he's given up 12 home runs in his last 8 games. So his ass is home run prone right now. He's giving it up towards righties. But you can't rule out somebody like Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's got, I think he's got a 48 or 38, 48 plate sample size versus him. I think he has 3 home runs and some singles and some doubles. So you can look at that. And then the righties, he's already given up home runs to righties. So I think JD Davis, he's 2 for 11, which those two are actually home runs. Muncy has a home run from him off him. So I was looking at hits, runs, and RBIs for JD. When you got those guys hitting in front of him, Mookie and guys like that hitting in front of him, it's a direct path for hits, runs, and RBIs. This is a prop that people really, really overlook. So I'll show you guys. Let me see where it must have got taken down. It probably bumped up to 2.5 now. So let's see. Who I like out of Arizona and Toronto. Okay, so I just gave you those guys. I just said them. I'm gonna give you two bats. I'm gonna give you two bats on both sides of the ball here. It's gonna be Bo Bichette and Chapman. Okay, Chapman is 1,000 OPS versus that handedness. Chapman, Bo Bichette is like a 900 and something OPS versus that handedness versus lefties. Chapman is a home run candidate, and then Bo Bichette is a home run candidate as well. And then honorable mention, I didn't mention Vladdy. You know what I'm saying? He's in play as well. But my top two favorite bats is going to be those two from Toronto. Then from the other side, Ketel Marte. I couldn't talk you off numbers from Ketel Marte, and no problem, bro, no problem. And then Ketel Marte, and then Christian Walker. Those are my other two favorite bats from the other side. I expect runs and shit to be put up there. Fantasy score, all that shit is in play for those guys. Philly and San Diego. My favorite bat is going to be Juan Soto. Juan Soto, I think he has 2 or 3 home runs off of Wheeler. Couple that with the fact that Juan Soto is hitting righties really, really well either way it goes. The other bat on the other side for Philly is going to be Harper. Shout out to Harper. He's hit a home run yesterday. Prior to yesterday, he hadn't hit a home run in ages. Okay. So shout out to him. He hit a home run yesterday. You can look at Harper for, hits, runs, and RBIs, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Let me go over to it because I know the lines have moved. These here, y'all got to get on these, man. Y'all, I don't know if y'all on it or not, but if you ain't on them, y'all sleeping. Y'all sleeping, and then catching the early lines for these hits, runs, and RBIs. Man, this is a underrated prop here. Okay, so going through these here before I get out of here, Luis Robert hits, runs, and RBIs. I like the over hits, runs, and RBIs at 2.5. Olsen always in play versus righties. Tim Anderson today is in play on the road versus lefties. He's in play. That's his split. Okay, 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And you can look at him for stolen base as well as Acuna for stolen base, and that falls into fantasy score on PrizePicks, and Berger is a home run candidate today versus lefties in general, but at home versus lefties, it's his big split. Jake Berger there, and Luis Robert is killing lefties right now. All right. I had already had Soto. This is a straight bet here. I'm willing to lay juice all the way up to minus 140 for something that I really, really like. So Juan Soto hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 130. I couldn't talk you off of that. Let's keep it moving. Like I said, I like Baltimore Orioles to win this game, but there's weather implications. So you got to look out for the weather. I had Bo Bichette penciled in. I had Matt Chapman penciled in. And who else did I say? Christian Walker hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 130. And then Ketel Marte, his run RBIs parlay piece at a minus 160. Couldn't talk about Vladimir Guerrero. When you like guys for home runs but don't want to take them for a home run, take them for hits, runs, and RBIs. All right, sometimes, or take it for total bases. 3 total bases and some shit like that. Sometimes they go crazy, do everything but hit the home run. And like I said, I really liked JD Martinez, hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 105, considering Mookie will be hitting lead off, and then you got Freddie Freeman hitting right before him, and then you'll probably have him, and then I couldn't, so that's plenty out. And then you can't rule out the fact that his ass will hit a bomb on his own, so a home run to clear that shit anyway. So there you have that. Mookie Betts has been hot. And then Max Muncy, minus 120, he has a home run versus him. So hits, runs, and RBIs, 1.5 for him. And Jason Harry, he's got okay numbers versus righties as well. So everybody ain't gonna get that. Pick your favorite ones. All right, home run candidate for me, Joey Votto here. His runs and RBIs in that 1.5 and minus 135. I like that. I like all these lefties, including Ellie De La Cruz. He's going to be a switch hitter there. We got 10.5 over under in this Cincinnati game. This game here, I expect runs to be put up in this one for sure. Today should be the day. I know weather implications. Today should be the day that they pop off. Both of these pitchers will give it up versus left-hand batters. Christian Yelich is in play. His runs and RBIs at 2.5. If you want to get there, his shit is in play. This ballpark produces runs, okay? Jake Fraley, minus 140. I like that for his runs and RBIs as well. It's a lot of guys I like here. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of hits, runs, and RBIs and shit just bopping around. Will Benson, okay? Here's a guy that you need to keep an eye out on. Last time I gave him out, he hit a bomb, okay? He got splits, all right? Let me show you, let me give you guys, like I said, for the people who wasn't here, you gotta be in tune with some of these gems here. I played fantasy. I play a lot of different game modes, so fantasy, DFS, a lot of shit. So you got to be up on sleepers and shit. You got to know how to find your splits and identify your splits, okay? So it might not always pan out for you, but be aware is to be alive. You know what I'm saying? So here's an example of some splits here. Now, he's on the road. Now, if he's on, remember, so if you've been capping baseball for a long time, a lot of this shit gonna already be in your head anyway. You know what I'm saying? These are splits that you just can't wait to bet on them. All right. Only thing about this split is he's at home right now, but he got home road splits. All right. Versus right hand pitching. Okay. So let's take a look at it. All right. Prime example here. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So Will Benson, he'll be hitting in that 8 or 9 hole. All right. He'll be hitting that. He might get moved up today, but in general here versus righties, he's hitting 306. Okay. In general versus lefties, he's hitting batting average 100. All right. Decent place and plate appearances, 130 plate appearances versus righties. Now, home and the road, just in general. So at home, he's only batting 214. On the road, this is where he pops out. He's batting 354 on the road. That's in general, all right? At home versus righties, he's batting 226. But on the road versus righties, he's batting 379. A decent plate appearance, and decent sample size, 69 plate appearances. That's good. That's okay. It's not, it's good. It's okay to me. It's okay to me. All right. Now, some of his advanced numbers. So you could just, hey, man, you might pop up to you. Hey, I remember that. I remember dude, man. So WRC plus, some of his advanced numbers versus righties. Isolated power, 200 there, 900 OPS versus righties, Slugging 505 versus righties, average 306, 143 WRC plus. Now, those numbers get higher on the road versus righties. 187 versus a 143 WRC plus. Um, um, ISO 224 versus 198. OPS 1000 versus 912. Slugging 600 versus 500 in general. 478 versus a 408 and 379 versus 306 batting average. So one thing, he will strike out. He will strike out, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's important that's how important splits are. All right. Now, he ain't on the road today. And that's fine. That's fine. But you wait to see who's in the lineup. Where's in the lineup? He might start hitting at home. You're gonna get value on a 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus money right now. He might still hit that. Because he's still facing a righty in general. So it's a lot of shit, man. It's a lot of shit. Who I was looking at here, bats wise, I was looking at Tampa Bay Rays. I was looking at Brandon Lowe, and I was looking at Rayleigh. Right. And I've been waiting on them. Rayleigh is the one I like the most. And I've been waiting on them to drop his line. They ain't dropped his line. Yet. All right. So the lefties is the ones who I like, but I probably won't bet on them. Tell you the truth, I'm probably not going to bet on them. Washington Nationals at St. Louis Cardinals. What did I have for this game? Oh, big weather. It was weather implications for this game here. What I really wanted to go for here, I wanted to take Josiah Gray outs. Josiah Gray pitches better on the road. Okay, so his K prop came out at 4.5. I really wanted to take that, and then his outs 6 to 15.5, which means you got to pitch six. Got to get in that 6th inning. You got to get us one out in that 6th inning, and I don't give a fuck what you do after that. At a plus 105, he's hit this his last 3 games on the road. But we got weather implications. So I got to figure out if I want to get around that weather. Boston Red Sox and Chicago Cubs. Anytime the Cubs facing a righty, I'm going to have interest in Christopher Morel. It just is what it is. All right. Now, the weather implications, Chicago, good weather, winds going out at 10 to 15 miles an hour. I like hits, runs, and RBIs at 1.5 for Chris Morel. All right. On the flip side, we do have Steele on the mound. He's a good pitcher. He's a lefty, but Justin Turner is a guy that does hit lefties well. I couldn't talk you off his hits, runs, and RBIs at 1.5 there. I do think the total is still 9.5 here. Let me see for the Chicago Cubs game. Still 9.5. So we'll see. Okay, we'll see. All right. Didn't have much for this Texas game here, although the lefties, I think you could still target the lefties versus Perez. I don't have much for this game, tell you the truth. The usual suspects here. Of course, Seager is always going to be in play. I mean, there you have that. The New York Yankees game. Yankees, they don't hit righties as well as they hit lefties. All right. This is Colorado, though. Anderson on the mound, his ass is trash. The runs he's given up lately has been 5, 6, 9, 7, 3, 3, 2. He gives it up a little bit for lefties, a little bit to righties. So the bats get a bump. But like I said, New York, they don't hit righties well. The Yankees, let me show you something. I had already went through this on my big pod, but I dropped it already. But when you did it with Colorado Rockies and you trying to cap that team and stuff like that, and they at home, you have to look at their home numbers, okay? In cores, you have to look at their home numbers, okay? You have to look at their home numbers. You have to look at their home numbers because that ballpark, it gives up runs, man. You know, it gives up runs. It's not like any other ballpark. So, you know, I was looking at it. I was fishing around, and they WRC plus numbers, right versus right hand pitching on the season. Colorado, WRC plus, they like trash, like 88 WRC plus, near the bottom, like the fifth worst. But at home versus right hand pitching, I mean everything else shit, they middle of the pack, 15th in isolated power. Okay, I get it. OPS, they top 5. Slugging, 6th. On base percentage, top 3. Batting average, 2nd. Yeah, so everything else is outside of WRC plus, but you got good pitching on the mound can definitely override that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this just some things that you just don't want to forget to remember. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to look at those guys on the road, at home and on the road when you play at a ballpark like Coors Field. You know what I'm saying? And when you play at a ballpark like Great American Ballpark, you know what I'm saying? You gotta decipher that shit sometimes. Minnesota Twins at Oakland Athletics, over under 8 right here, and Ryan's got good case stuff, man. What I will tell you is this: yesterday, right? Why it's important to look at the lineups, because Oakland ran out 7 left-hand batters yesterday against Lopez. It can be disrupting when you've got to run across he pitches his worst versus lefties, So Ryan is different. He's a little bit better versus lefties than Lopez, but they game plan to come out there and fuck Lopez up. They got to him. They couldn't finish the deal, but they got to him. They put up 7 runs, had motherfuckers shaking. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think he got to his K prop. I don't think he got to his K prop, Lopez, but keep an eye out on that. It's major key looking at the lineups, because these managers and shit, they game plan through lineups and see who they're running out there and stuff like that. So with that being said, yeah, Ryan, he's in play. His K prop is in play. Sitting at 7.5 though. It's up there. Sears on the other hand, doesn't have a big time high K rate, but this Minnesota Twins team have striking out. Now, they ain't been striking out that much versus lefties as they is versus righties. They've been striking out like a mug versus righties, but it is what it is. All right. But yeah, let me see. I wanted to see so Sears K percentage is 22.9, 16.7 towards lefties, 24.4 towards righties. Decent K rate towards righties. So I like that. His K prop came out at 5.5. I think righties have been hitting him hard, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna end up falling back off this one here, but I don't know. It has an underfield to it, but we'll see. I didn't have nothing for the Detroit game that has an underfield to it. That Dodgers game, we already talked about it, and the Houston game. This is a game where I expect runs to be put up in. I like a couple batters on each side. The Los Angeles. All right, so Los Angeles side, I like of course. Why wouldn't I like Ohtani when Ohtani has been smashing Javier? I think he's got like 2 or 3 home runs versus him. Versus right, he's just Ohtani. What the fuck you want me to say? Shit. But Moniak, that's who I like. All right. He might be leading off. He's been on the tear right now. Let's see what his numbers look like. Let's see what his hits, runs, and RBIs look like. Yeah, Christian Javier, he's been giving up runs, man. So okay. 1.5 and -120. I like that. I really like that. Shohei Ohtani, 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for +115. I like that. I like that. All right. So those are two of my favorite bets. If Moustakas, couldn't talk about Moustakas, he's in play. He hit a bomb yesterday. So hits, runs, and RBIs at 1.5. I like that too, because I expect runs to be put up in this one here. All right. Kyle Tucker, anytime he get a lefty matchup, he's in play. All right. So he's sitting at a parlay piece right now at a -165. I like Kyle Tucker. He's 3 for 4 versus this guy. So I like Kyle Tucker there. All right. I think Alex Bregman. He's 3 or 6 to this guy. And the thing about Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker is 3 for 4, and all of those hits were double. All those hits were it was 2 doubles and a triple, and then Bregman he's 3 or 6 to this guy, and it's a double and 2 home runs. So both of these guys they got multi-base hits off of this guy. And that's it. That's all they do. Okay. All right. So they have that. Now, there's going to be some other guys that get a bump here. Houston is hitting left-hand pitching really, really good. I can show you all that before I get out of here. Let's see. Left-hand pitching. Let's just look at last 30 days. Houston as a team. Houston 7th in WRC plus. OPS, they probably what? Houston top 10. Isolated power, I don't know isolated power. Houston 14th. Slugging, Houston top 10. Strikeouts, they don't even strike out versus left-hand pitching. You can cancel that shit. New York, Houston, 3rd, 28th in striking out. They ain't striked out about a ton of versus left-hand pitching all year. You know what I'm saying? So you can cancel that shit. Yeah. So, all that shit, not striking out, high batting average, good WRC plus, that shit leads to runs, You could target target lefties versus both of these pitchers here. I expect runs to be put up in there, and then maybe the over there. All right. As you guys can see, I don't bet a lot of sides and stuff like that. I bet a lot of props, but it is what it is. Appreciate you guys for kicking it with me. This ain't what I wanted to do, but I just ended up going back over it. I wanted to go over some of the strategies that I use. Maybe I'll just make a video for that shit and just show you guys some of the strategies I use for home runs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff I use. I didn't talk about home runs. Let's look. It's a lot that goes into home runs, man. StatCast, you can use a lot of StatCast, a lot of baseball savant and stuff like that. A lot that goes into home runs. Who's one of my favorite home run candidates today? Let's just look at let's look at Soto. Okay, let's look at Soto. So I just went over Soto. If y'all want to see that, you can rewind it to the beginning. I looked at Soto earlier and I showed that. But did I show that? Okay, so I didn't really talk about barrel percentage and stuff like that. So barrel percentage, man. So this is major key when you're looking at home runs and stuff like that, okay? So barrel percentage is a combination of exit velo and launch angle, I want to say. And those are two components that really make up those are two components that you need to make up of a home run. We have some we have some we have some you got definitions for a lot of shit down here. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So there you go, right there. Barrels. A batted ball with the perfect combination of there you go, exit velocity and launch angle. Okay, hard hit. All this shit. You got a lot of definitions here. You know what I'm saying, that you can use and stuff like that. And I match it up with pitchers, barrel rates and stuff like that, because they hold the barrel rate as well. Anything in red here, that means good. So that da da da. Only thing I could say is somebody like Soto does got good history versus Wheeler, shit like that. Then you got numbers, you got expected numbers and stuff like that, where you got hard hit percentage, WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging, K percentage strikeout, walk percentage, shit like that. Okay, expected numbers, expected slugging, shit like that. Then you got it for pitchers as well. So let's see. Seth Lugo, hard hit percentage. Anything in blue means not good, but you can find your ways around that blue stuff. When you just feel like a pitcher's been pitching good and shit like that, stuff like that. Just like Zach Wheeler, he's been getting hit lately, but his shit's still red. Red means good. So, so there you have that. But these are some examples of what like expected WOBA, expected batter average, expected slugging, things that you can look at that's good for pitchers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Once it start getting into the folds and stuff like that, like expected slugging here, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to get bad. He's still in the threes. His expected, that means he's supposed to be good. You're supposed to be good. Expected numbers, you're expected to be whatever the numbers say. If it's a good number, it's expected to be good. If it's a bad number, it's expected to be bad or almost bad. You got different shades of blue. You got different shades of red. 37 is not as bright as this 86. You know what I'm saying? You got different shades of red that's showing you how good or how bad, different shades of blue showing you how bad or how good a person could be, a pitcher or a hitter could be. Okay. It's a lot of different other stuff, man. It's a lot to look at. But once you get it, it's fun. I don't fully have everything. You got a pitch Mitch. You could click on him and you could look at it, see what percentile these pitchers are in all the different categories. If my shit would load up, thank you, please. So 97% percentile in walks and 77% percentile in Ks, and a lot of stuff right here when it comes to StatCast. For over the years, barrel percentage, expected ERA, expected, all that shit over the years, standard splits, game logs, yada yada yada, the pitch mixes and stuff like that, percentage of the pitches thrown, stuff like that. You can also look at another site, something that be a little bit more easier, to look at, all different types of stuff. Then you could probably compare some pitch mixes. Let's see. So let's look at Soto, for instance, right here, because I didn't look at the pitch mixes with you guys earlier in the video. You can rewind that shit earlier, what I did. This will be the last thing I'll get out of here. They have barrel percentage right here versus lefty and righties here. So everything is green right here for Zach Wheeler, meaning he's not giving up a lot of barrels and shit like that. So you can filter it over here to usage and stuff like that. So this four-seam fastball, a lot of people hits that shit. Here you got the batters on the side. You got the batters on this side right here. And maybe my mouse, my battery is probably running out of my mouse here. But then you say you can filter from pitch types here, four-seam fastball. A lot of batters hit this shit. So, a lot of batters hit this shit. Then you got a barrel, you got a K percentage. You can go over here to advanced, and you can check out barrels and shit like that versus that pitch. And you can check out basic numbers, ISO, WOBA, K percentage, walk, and, projected fantasy points. I want to say projected fantasy points for that player. So there you have that. So the four-seam fastball, everybody hits that shit. Then you can probably, then he goes slider maybe 17% of the time, probably a put away pitch for him. So you maybe a slider, you can filter it towards the slider, get some strikeout rates on it, you know what I'm saying, some ISO rates on it and stuff like that. And then you can click to you can click the you can click the you click the advance, and then you can get some advanced numbers on it, like plate appearances 46, looking at Soto, fly ball rate, shit like that, hard hit 63, versus that pitch 18.5 barrel rate versus that pitch. Anything is color coded so you can see the green. This is green. This is green. You got green, however you want to look at it. You got green, you got Reggie Green right there, you got Kush Green, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So you know, that shit green, you know, hey, you know, so there you have that. All right. Look at the fastball sinker. Where is it? Okay. Right. So Soto looks good, you know, with all three of those pitch mixes right there. So, you know, and oh, you know, the numbers, right? The numbers are already stacked up for him. You know what I'm saying? He already, you know, he already hit his pitches a lot. He had a 38 sample size versus him with 2 home runs. You know what I'm saying? Averaging he had 38 plate appearances versus this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is. You can look at the leaders and stuff like that and start deciphering stuff like that. You know, you can just you do a lot with Baseball Savant and fan graphs alone. You know what I'm saying? Those are probably the top two sites I use. I do have a model or whatever, but I don't use it a lot. I don't have a lot of time, man. I work, man. You know, I like to help people when I can, you know. I like to help people when I can, but I do work. It's not something I wish I could do this for full time. I probably could do it for full time, but it takes discipline. And just to let you guys know, I don't have a lot of discipline. You know what I'm saying? I ain't ashamed to say it. I don't have a lot of discipline, but I have more discipline than most, especially newcomers. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm getting better and better at that each and every day. It's 9:21. I'm glad you guys came out and chopped it up with me. I did do a video later. Football coming up though. Football coming up. Football is coming up. I'm about to start doing some videos. And if anybody wants to come on, let me know, man. You can come on, chop it up, man. Chop it up with me. You can come on. I ain't tripping. I do this shit by myself all the time, man. Anybody want to come on and talk some smack? You know, it is what it is. Peace out. Peace out.